Summary of Pride and Prejudice. Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen is a witty and romantic tale set in 19th century England. The story follows Elizabeth Bennet, a spirited and intelligent young woman, and her family of 5 daughters. The Bennets are eager to secure advantageous marriages for their daughters, as their modest estate is entailed to a distant male relative, Mr. Collins. When Mr. Bingley, a wealthy and amiable gentleman, moves into the nearby estate of Netherfield, he quickly forms a connection with Jane, the eldest Bennet's sister. Accompanying him is Mr. Darcy, a reserved and seemingly arrogant friend whose haughty demeanor earns the scorn of Elizabeth. Their initial interactions are marked by misunderstandings, pride, and prejudice, setting the stage for a compelling conflict. Elizabeth becomes further prejudiced against Darcy when she meets Mr. Wickham, a charming but deceitful officer who claims Darcy wronged him. Meanwhile, the ambitious Mr. Collins proposes to Elizabeth, but she refuses, much to her mother's dismay. The turning point arrives when Darcy unexpectedly proposes to Elizabeth, confessing his love, but also insulting her family's status. Elizabeth rejects him, citing his role in separating Jane and Bingley and his mistreatment of Wickham. However, Darcy redeems himself through a heartfelt letter that reveals the truth about Wickham's dishonorable behavior and Darcy's protective nature toward his sister. The drama intensifies when Lydia, the youngest Bennet sister, elopes with Wickham, threatening the family's reputation. Darcy steps in behind the scenes, persuading Wickham to marry Lydia and settling their debts. This selfless act transforms Elizabeth's perception of Darcy. By the end of the novel, misunderstandings are resolved and Elizabeth realizes her own flaws as Darcy sheds his pride. Their eventual marriage symbolizes the triumph of love, growth, and mutual respect. Alongside them, Jane and Bingley's happy union offers a sweet counterpoint to the more tumultuous journey of Elizabeth and Darcy. Themes in Pride and Prejudice. 1. Love and marriage. Austen explores different kinds of marriages, highlighting societal expectations and individual desires. While Elizabeth and Darcy's relationship grows from mutual respect and understanding, other marriages, such as Charlotte Lucas and Mr. Collins' pragmatic union or Lydia and Wickham's reckless elopement, show the pitfalls of marrying for convenience or impulse. 2. Pride and Prejudice. The title reflects the central flaws of the two main characters. Darcy's pride in his social status and Elizabeth's prejudice against his perceived arrogance create misunderstandings. Their eventual growth allows them to overcome these flaws, emphasizing the importance of humility and open-mindedness. Social class and mobility. The novel critiques the rigid class system of Regency-era England. Elizabeth challenges norms by rejecting proposals from men of higher status, while Darcy transcends his own prejudices by pursuing Elizabeth despite her lower social standing. 4. Reputation and morality. Reputation is a driving force in the lives of Austen's characters, especially for women. Lydia's elopement with Wickham highlights how moral missteps can damage a family's standing. Conversely, Darcy's actions to resolve the scandal reflect his sense of responsibility and personal growth. Number 5. Self-discovery and growth. Both Elizabeth and Darcy undergo significant personal transformations. Elizabeth learns to question her judgments, while Darcy sheds his pride, demonstrating that personal growth is key to meaningful relationships. 6. Family and relationships. The Bennet family's dynamics reflect a range of personalities and values, from Mrs. Bennet's frivolity to Mr. Bennet's detachment. Austen contrasts this with the more stable and respectful relationship of the Gardiners, who act as mentors to Elizabeth. Critical analysis of Pride and Prejudice. 1. Social commentary. Austen's sharp critique of Regency-era society is woven throughout the novel. She exposes the absurdities of matchmaking and the economic pressures on women to marry well. By presenting Elizabeth as an independent and self-assured heroine, Austen challenges the traditional roles of women. 2. Feminist undertones. Elizabeth Bennet's refusal to marry for convenience or wealth makes her a revolutionary character. She values intelligence, compatibility, and mutual respect in a relationship, which contrasts sharply with the expectations of her time. 3. Character development. Austen excels at creating multidimensional characters. Elizabeth and Darcy's transformations are gradual and believable, making their eventual union deeply satisfying. Supporting characters, like the comedic Mr. Collins and the conniving Wickham, add richness to the narrative. 4. Use of irony. Austen's use of irony adds depth and humor. For instance, the opening line, "It is a truth universally acknowledged," satirizes societal attitudes toward marriage. Austen's narrative voice often pokes fun at characters like Mrs. Bennet and Mr. Collins, exposing their superficiality. Number 5. Romantic realism. Unlike many romantic novels of its time, Pride and Prejudice is grounded in realism. The love between Elizabeth and Darcy is built on understanding and respect, rather than mere attraction, making their relationship enduringly relatable. 6. Timeless appeal. The novel remains relevant because it deals with universal themes: the complexity of relationships, the danger of misjudgments, and the value of self-awareness. Readers across generations connect with Elizabeth's wit, Darcy's vulnerability, and the novel's ultimate message of personal growth. Austen's brilliance lies in her ability to blend romance with social critique, creating a novel that is both entertaining and thought-provoking. Whether you read it for its sharp humor, engaging plot, or deep themes, Pride and Prejudice continues to captivate readers worldwide.